that you can actually manifest, because it's a real thing. Being a lucky girl, or, you know, manifesting things in your life, law of assumption, whatever you want to call it, it's a real thing. But it's like, let's have it be sustainable, because if you don't, then what's gonna happen is we need to talk about the lucky girl syndrome, and we need to talk about it now. Okay, I was going to make a video on this and then I didn't, and then somebody had asked me on one of my videos the other day to talk about the lucky girl syndrome. I asked you guys on my Instagram, which go follow me on there, and I asked if you guys wanted a video on the lucky girl syndrome, and you said yes. Okay, so the lucky girl syndrome is everywhere online, especially TikTok. And I think majority of things that are very trendy will pop off on TikTok for like a second, and then it will dim down. And especially when it comes to anything to do with getting the life that you want by assuming yourself to be somebody or have certain belief, is very popular on TikTok. And I think mainly it is like manifesting and all this kind of stuff. I think it is because when people are on TikTok, they want a quick fix. They want something that's like, okay, tell me how to get exactly what I want in 3 seconds, and tell me how to do no work, and like, let me just like think of it, and then it'll become my reality. And that's where I think that sometimes the lucky girl syndrome, or manifesting, or any sort of, you know, spiritual universal thing will get a bad rep, because what will happen is people jump on the bandwagon just to realize it doesn't work because they didn't apply it right. And then they think, no, it doesn't work. Manifesting's crap. Nothing works. Let me try something new. And the truth is, the lucky girl syndrome, it does work. It's just people are not understanding how it works and how to properly use it so it's sustainable, which we're gonna talk about in this video. So the lucky girl syndrome is essentially the law of assumption. It is assuming that every single thing that happens in your life is working out in your favor, that you are the luckiest girl ever. So even when something poorly happens, or even when something good happens, you are thinking, I'm the luckiest girl ever. Even if something doesn't work out, I believe that this is all in my favor and I'm still lucky, and that's that. So it's nothing different than the law of assumption, which is just assuming that everything that the universe brings to you is for a reason, and everything happens for a reason. This weekend I was watching a Jack Harlow interview actually, and he was talking a lot about manifesting and just like basically the law of assumption, and really backing yourself and having certain beliefs that got him to where he is now. And I think that if you look at any successful person in their interviews, you will see a thread of something that's the same, which is this law of assumption, assuming something to work out into your favor. No matter how long it takes, you are believing in something. You're believing that the universe is working for you, and even when your circumstances look like it's not, like the circumstances don't matter, and like, I'm gonna continue moving forward. And I was listening to one of his songs, and one of the lyrics was, I don't wish for success, I speak it. And I actually posted it on my community tab, and I asked you guys what your thoughts were on that. But I feel like I'm somebody who thinks the same way. I don't need to rely on luck in order to get what I want, but I also don't just look at things as if I'm hoping and I'm waiting and maybe and hopefully I'll get what I want. And I speak certain things into existence. Now, where I think people get it wrong with speaking things into existence, the same way people get wrong with the lucky girl syndrome, is when we hear that, we think, okay, well, let me speak into existence that I want a red Ferrari. And then you're obviously not going to get a red Ferrari. And then people will say, speaking it into existence doesn't work. Assuming that I'm a lucky person doesn't work because I didn't get that thing. But what Jack was probably meaning, or even what I mean, when we're talking about speaking things into existence, when you have a certain belief that everything is going to work out for me, everything is for me, I believe in myself, your actions correlate with that belief, and the actions is what's going to actually get you the thing in your life. And I think that that is such a huge missing part when it comes to manifesting, lucky girl syndrome, everything doesn't really matter, is it's the action piece. People just think that it's just as easy as that. But the thing also is, it's not as hard as we think when we think about taking action, if we have certain beliefs and if we have a certain mindset. So here's how you can actually be a lucky girl, somebody who believes that everything is happening for her and not to her, in a sustainable way. Because the truth is, this lucky girl syndrome is going to, it's like already dying down. You know, it's very popular and then it's gonna go away. And the truth is, what is underlying this lucky girl syndrome really is the law of assumption, and that thing is real. And the same thing is like manifesting, like all of this stuff is real. It's just, we use it for a second, then we throw it out. So if you actually want to adopt this mindset and have this be a part of your core beliefs for you to actually get what you want in your life, the same way I have used this to get everything that I have in my life, then here is some sustainable tips for you. So of course, one of the things when it comes to lucky girl syndrome is believing, or the law of assumption, whatever you want to say, is believing that everything is working out in your favor. But the truth is, something's going to happen in your life and then you're going to think, oh my gosh, this is not working out in my favor. So when things don't work out in your favor, look at it as a test from the universe to ask you, are you going to settle, or have you been settling and I'm taking something away from your life because I want you to see that you need to up level, you need to grow from this. I have a video on when are you going to stop settling. I think that will really get to the root of this settling thing if you want to understand it more. But if you can look at everything in your life, if things don't work out in your favor, even if they do, look at them as tests, as lessons, something you can learn from it. Because sometimes if you're thinking about being a lucky girl and when things don't happen, what will happen is, okay, I'm gonna ignore that and spiritual bypass and just ignore it and just be positive thinking. But really the universe is trying to tell you something, and it could actually expedite your manifestation that you're actually trying to get in your life, or something that you're trying to bring in your life, if you actually look at it and as a test. Because maybe the universe is saying, hello, you're trying to settle for this person or this opportunity, and I'm going to not give that to you because I want you to learn from this and ask for more or be more or do more. And sometimes if we kind of look the other way completely, we won't actually learn from that, and then we're just waiting for the universe to bring us something new in our life, but we haven't actually even seen what we need to readjust. Not from a bad place, but actually from more of an up-leveling place. So when something happens in your life, positive but more so negative, look at it as a test, a lesson. What can I learn from it? The next thing is to learn how to listen more to your emotional guidance system. We all have emotional guidance systems within us, aka our emotions, and we have been taught for many years to ignore them, to deny them, to suppress them. Society tells us, forget your emotions, go to work, do this, we're people pleasers, all of these. But the truth is, the more that you listen to your gut, your intuition, and you go for what you truly want in your life, it's my belief that more often than not, you're actually going to have things work out for you, which you kind of know to be true, because when you know that you haven't listened to your gut instinct and then something bad happens, you're like, oh, I should have went with my gut. So if you should have went with your gut and you go with your gut more, you're going to build a trust muscle within you, and when things actually start to work out for you, which they usually inevitably do start working out when you follow your gut, follow your emotional guidance system, you're gonna feel like you're lucky in a way. You're going to feel like the universe is working in your favor when things are working out for you. The next thing is to befriend your inner critic. Now, this is going to be important when you are trying to, build your dream life, create your dream life, become a person who is lucky, somebody who believes that the universe is working for you and not against you. Because what's going to happen when something, especially when you're really starting to change something in your life, things are coming at you constantly, not so positive things. Things aren't working out, things are changing, evolving, whatever. You're gonna have an inner critic that tells you, see, I told you so, things don't work out for you, or self-doubt's gonna come in the way and be like, I don't think you can do that, and you shouldn't do that, or X, Y, and Z. And you actually need to start to have a relationship with the part of you that is telling you these stories, and be able to give some dialogue back and be like, let's not go there. I'm not gonna let you spiral. This is an old story. This old self-doubt, this belief that we're not good enough, the belief that things can't happen to us, but it happens to everyone else, and there's the belief that there's no good men out there and I can't get what I want and I'm not always going to be broke, or whatever limiting belief that you have. The limiting belief is really like that part of you, an inner critic being like, no, see, negative, can't do it. You need to befriend that part of you and be like, hello, sorry, but no. And you can do that through a few ways. Honestly, just witnessing that you have that part of you when it comes up, when you're trying to do something new for the first time, or something doesn't happen in your life the way that you really want it to. You can literally just affirm to yourself, it's an old story. This is not the full picture. We can get what we want. Just because this is not working out doesn't mean that I'm not gonna get what I want. There's probably something better. Let's look, let's learn, let's evolve from this thing. But another thing that you can do is do parts work with this part of you if it's very strong, if you have a very strong inner critic. I have a playlist on my TikTok where I give you examples of how to do parts work, but you can also get the book No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz. That's a really good book for you to start to explore what it means to have conversations with yourself, because I know it can be, kind of sounds weird to even do that. But you do have you have many parts of you than just one part being yourself. And to learn how to have dialogue with parts of you that are old, that are trying to spiral into negative circumstances, is going to be very helpful on this journey of leveling up and creating your dream life, because inevitably there's going to be things that happen in your life. And if you telling yourself, okay, fine, I'm lucky, well, you might be able to tell yourself you're lucky until something really comes up where you're like, okay, I'm doubting that I'm lucky right now. And listen, these tips are not to not let yourself go to the negative, not let yourself look at the things in your life that aren't desirable and just ignore them, because that's what a lot of people do in the spiritual space when it comes to manifesting and positive thinking. They will positive think themselves into delusion, essentially. And I'm not also giving you these tips so that I can remind you that you can't be delusional. You have to live in reality and you need to look at these circumstances and dwell in them. I don't want you to do that, but it's actually good to look at these circumstances and learn new ways that you can have a relationship with negative circumstances or things that don't work out in your life, so that you can actually up level, so you can actually become that lucky person, or that you can actually manifest, because it's a real thing. Being a lucky girl, or manifesting things in your life, law of assumption, whatever you want to call it, it's a real thing. But it's like, let's have it be sustainable, because if you don't, then what's gonna happen is you're gonna go into delusion until you realize it doesn't work, or you're just gonna go try and hop onto the next thing when you realize I can't just lie to myself and be absolutely lucky all the time. And I think the number one thing that a lot of people are missing when it comes to all of this is actually looking at that circumstance that didn't work out, the negative emotion that's coming up, the negative whatever, and learning from this and realizing the beauty and the growth that will actually come from this situation. If we actually look at it, we are so primed as humans to not look at negative emotions and not be there and not, just ignore it or whatever. And the universe is actually trying to get you to see something very, very important. And if you can apply some of these tips and, look at things for what they are and, still have that positive outlook, but okay, wait, can I adjust? Am I settling here? Should I be doing something a new way? That ends up actually bringing you closer to your manifestation anyways. And bringing it back to, I don't wish for success, I speak it. I think the success thing is when things are, let's say negative circumstances are happening or something's not working out in your favor, you're speaking to your inner critic, you're speaking to yourself, you're speaking in a way of being like, okay, I'm gonna learn from this, I'm growing for this, this is working out in my favor, I'm looking at this circumstance and I'm realizing that the universe needed me to see this, and I'm gonna continue to move forward. I'm using this to fuel me. I'm not gonna look at it as I'm a victim and hopefully maybe one day I'll be successful, but this thing happened right now, so I'm not lucky and I'm not X, Y, and Z. Like, no, you guys know that being a victim on my channel, like, it's just not a thing. So yeah, I think it's an interesting phenomenon, but it's not, because it's really just manifesting in the law of assumption packaged up into something that's like a very quick trend on social media and on TikTok. And the truth is the reason why people say that it works is because it does work. But usually what happens is people kind of, there's a level of you being delusional and you manifesting things and positively focusing to the point where you manifest things, but it's not sustainable. So what will happen is, like, people will say, oh my God, it works. I have this example and this example and this example. And they do it until they burn themselves out. And the truth is, you can learn how to do it and not burn yourself out and be consistent. And what ends up happening is you actually curate a life where it's in alignment by looking at things as a test and something you can learn from it, by following your emotional guidance system more than you used to, by befriending your inner critic and, you know, telling yourself a new story. And then it's gonna get to a point where you don't need to put a label on what it is that you're doing and constantly reaffirm and write out, I'm a lucky girl, I have lucky girl syndrome, everything is luck, everything's working out my favor, da 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 da. You're gonna get to a point where you just have so much trust, and you know the cycle that you need to go through. When something doesn't work out, you're looking at it, then you're manifesting and you're growing and you're evolving. Like, that's where I'm at in my life. I don't need to cling on to thinking I'm a lucky girl and reaffirming that to myself. That's just how I live my life now. And I think that's where we want to be at. But again, people will grasp onto the one thing, use it for a bit, throw it away, and then they'll find something else, and they don't actually realize that you could have been using this the whole time if you were just being sustainable with it. So I hope that my explanation, my take, any of my tips helped you in any way. I didn't think too much about this video when I like wrote down some of my, I don't know, tips. So hopefully it made sense. And yeah, let me know in the comments what resonated with you, and if you want me to expand further on any of the things I talked about in this video. And I will have a video on the screen right now called When Are You Going to Stop Settling, like I said in the beginning. Please go and watch that video. I think that's kind of correlated in a way. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.